talk to you about money. The biggest one when it comes to money is debt. Stay the heck away from debt. My dad, at a young age, told me to go take out a loan on a four-wheeler. And that started a gigantic snowball and a bad habit of me getting into debt. So I am not speaking without experience. Stay out of debt. Pay all your bills first. Credit card debt is a monkey that will not get off of your back. All right, another one. Stay in your house for a while, and that's where you're going to build your most amount of wealth. I think I've heard every 6-7 years is when you actually start building wealth on your house. Inflation is real. It's happening. Because inflation is real, housing will be inflated. So if you can stay in a house for 5-6 years, because it's taking more dollars, your house will go up in value. Now it's going to take that same amount of money if you go ahead and have to reinvest it. So if you bought a house like me for around 200 and now it's worth 400, it seems like you've doubled. But the problem is it takes that 400,000 to buy that same kind of house. So it's not the actual value of the houses went up. It's that it takes more dollars. So it's worth more because the dollar is worth less. So pay off your debt. Keep all your bills caught up. Don't get into credit card debt. Make sure if you have a credit card, you're paying it off every single month, like my wife does, because she is so particular about that. All right, here's another one. Buy a little piece of land, something small. That land is going up in value. If it's just a blank piece of land, you can keep the taxes very small and minimal on it. And you can keep the overhead on that piece of property very small and minimal. If you want to stay out of the tax loophole, you can put a camper, you can put a U-Haul, you can put a storage container, you can put a shipping container on it, and it's not going to be making the value of the property go up because it's not really permanent. So if you do things that are non-permanent, or if you set a storage building that is a 12 by 20 storage building on that property, they cannot tax you as if that is a permanent dwelling on there. If you start making something permanent, they're going to rip you on taxes. And I'm speaking from experience. So another good one is put a storm shelter on it. No one will ever know. They're looking at everything through drone now. If you start adding things, they're going to come up. If you start adding things, start cutting down trees, and even a remote piece of property, they watch everything through satellites, through drones. I say drones. I mean, I'm sure there's a third market company, a third person company that comes out and does drone stuff. But they will find out if you are improving land. So if you do things that can't be seen by the normal person coming up and skimming over your property, like putting in a storm shelter or some kind of, passive heated and cooled space, some kind of underground house type of building, you will save yourself in the long run from a tax burden. Another good one, which I will speak to about finances, is buying things that are going up in value. So if you're buying Kias, good luck. Those things are going down in value. Not all vehicles, not all assets appreciate, but some assets do appreciate. And I would call those assets that are life assurance. Certain four-wheel drive vehicles, they are going up in value. One quick story and that's it. I was with my best buddy 15 years ago. He went and bought an International Scout for $5,000. That same International Scout 15 years later is worth well over 20 grand. It's gotten use as well. He's driven to work. So it is a vehicle that serves the purpose of transportation from A to B, and it's gone up in value. So certain assets do appreciate. Land is one of them because they're not making it anymore. So if you can get in while the getting's good and you can know when the perfect time to buy something is, and I'm talking about not buying it to flip it. Don't buy things to flip them unless you are just an expert on it. There are people, I have a friend of mine who is an expert when it comes to Honda Elements. Don't ask me why you would be an expert on buying and selling Honda Elements, but he is an expert when it comes to buying and selling Honda Elements. He knows how to make money on them. He is the exception, not the rule. The rule of thumb is it usually takes time for things to appreciate and go up in value. So otherwise, you know, everyone that's got those dadgum Beanie Babies that's still sitting there waiting for the Beanie Babies to go up in value, they're not. They're just sitting there collecting dust. Or how about the Tickle Me Elmos? There were a few people that got the Tickle Me Elmos or the Pokemon cards. But most of the time it takes a long time for those things to appreciate. If they even do in the long run. So, that is my soapbox for today on money. Please make smart choices and stay the heck away from debt. Soapbox for today.